Matthew, another finals campaign. Just your emotions, excitement about what's ahead for the Fremantle Dockers?
Yeah, clearly excited about the week ahead, but the excitement really means nothing. It's about us, making sure we dot every I and cross every T this week. Our preparation is faultless, and we go into the game Saturday night knowing that we couldn't have done anything more and go out there with confidence.
The loss of Lyon Matthew Pavlich, how much does that affect the team, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's a very good player and has probably been one of the form, or not probably, he's definitely been one of the form defenders of the competition this year, and he's a vital part to our backline, but it certainly provides a great opportunity for an Alex Rabani or Anthony Grover or maybe even a Dylan Robertson to come in and fill that void. We're all feeling for Luke, but to be frank, it's about the next person stepping up. He'll prepare as best he can for later in the final series when and if we progress, and I know Luke really well, and he'll be making sure that he assists all the defenders this week in preparing as best they can for the game on Saturday night.
Ross, has Luke had scans, and if he has, what's the prognosis in terms of how long it's going to be?
Yeah, he has had scans, spoken to our doctors and conditioners. They'll treat it like a normal hamstring, which it is, meet the normal KPIs, anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So, yeah, but we'll clearly push him along. So, but look, it's like everyone else, Fife's been injured, and once you're in rehab, I tend to just drop you off, and they continually furnish me with the information, is he hitting his KPIs or there's been any headaches. So I won't pay too much attention to Luke from here. As brutal as that sounds, that's the reality of it, and we'll deal with the ones in front of us now, So, but he has had a great year, so we won't miss him. But it's a great opportunity for someone else.
Is Anthony Grover a realistic chance of playing? Has he done enough in recent times to put his hand up?
Yeah, look, I understand your curiosity about who's going to replace, but once we start drilling into individuals, I think Matthew's clearly spoken about who you think's on the radar. We'll, I'm still in the midst of our review, and we'll deliver that to the players, and then so our systems won't change. We'll focus on our review and apply great rigour to that, and then they'll allow us to pick a team at match committee of who's met our standards, what we're after, and then we'll sort of move on to Geelong. So you're a little bit ahead of me, as much as I understand the question. So I'm certainly not going to drill into Anthony or Alex or who's versus who. We'll sit down, we'll have match committee, we'll look at the composition of their team, the 3 talls, Vardy's coming in. So we've got a few decisions to make, and then we'll inform you. I'm certainly not going to, lift or flatten anyone individual in a press conference.
Do you take confidence?
For selection?
Yeah, definitely available. Yeah.
Do you take confidence, Ross, out of the chemistry among the rest of your backline and I guess their ability to help each other out?
I think the real issue at hand is every week you go down and play is about how well your midfielders and forwards put pressure on the ball carrier, and your high backs to give the key defenders a chance to defend. So Luke's had a terrific year, and Zach and Michael Johnson, but why has that occurred? Because their teammates up the field have given them a chance to defend strongly. So that would be the principle that all teams take in, and we'll focus on this week as well, because they're an electric team with the ball, highly skilled, triple premiership team, if you don't apply pressure. So that will be the challenge.
Ross, could the result of Geelong's match review panel influence some of your selections as well?
No, whatever happens with Geelong and their selection, well, we're always monitoring the opposition, and we employ opposition analysts, and they'll track them and furnish us with the information, and we always pay due respect to the opposition, but fundamentally it has been about us and our style of football, and the way we play is the way we want to play, with some slight tweaks with upcoming opposition. So that's the way it works.
Matthew, how'd the body get through the game, and how are you 2 days on?
Yeah, look, pretty good. I was going into the game, I was still a bit sore, and only trained lightly early in the week last week, but was really pleased to have got through the game. Gives me great confidence going into this week. Have pulled up pretty well, and certainly aiming to train probably later in the week, probably Thursday before we fly out, which has been, speaking openly, the first main training session I've had for a number of weeks. So I'm a lot better positioned than I have been in the previous few weeks.
Do you feel I think you got strapped quite heavily before the game on the weekend. Did that help you get through a little bit better?
Oh, look, it wasn't any different than normal. I had the sleeve on the leg just throughout the warm-up, but yeah, I got through that fine, and as I said, I'm really confident to go out there this week, being the best I've felt for a few weeks.
You've missed a little bit of training just to get yourself through these period of games. How do you keep your touch through those stretches?
Oh, look, you know, as much as you can, you go inside and get some coaches to whack the footies at you, and you know, when you get a bit quieter time when there's none of you guys out there, you head out to the field and do a bit. But you know, I've trained pretty hard for 10 or 12 months now, since November or October last year. So you do rely on your training and your preparation being spot on since November.
Any shade of disappointment at all with the Coleman medal not quite snaring it in the end?
No, look, I mentioned before, I didn't watch a second of the game yesterday. It wasn't a consideration Saturday night. You know, it's negligent of an athlete to go out there and be focusing on individual awards when you're in a team game. So it was all about how we progressed for this Saturday, and I'm just rapt to be in a final series. I couldn't give much consideration at all to that award.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah. I may have if there wasn't 8 microphones in front of me.
Matthew, obviously final series have been few and far between for the club. What does it mean for yourself, and what message do you pass on to the other players in terms of making the most of the opportunity?
Well, that's what it is. It's an opportunity, and 2 years ago, the younger group of players that we've had progressing through and maturing got the opportunity to run out onto Patterson Stadium against Hawthorn and get the victory, and then go over to the MCG and unfortunately, put in a really poor performance against the Cats. So, what we're trying to do this week is do the same, go over there and get the victory, and really put in a strong, hard-edged performance that I think we've been building towards all year. And it's a great opportunity, but that's all it is. We know it's an elimination, and we'll be certainly throwing everything at that.
Even though you don't have the home final this time around, do you feel you're better placed than 2 years ago? You're more battle-hardened in a way?
I look really hard to compare the team to 2 years ago. The personnel has certainly changed, but generically speaking, I think the group is a bit better off in the sense of understanding exactly how we want to play. The guys have matured in their own bodies and certainly have understood Ross's game plan. So yeah, we're well positioned, but we clearly know we've got a pretty good opposition up against us as well.
Ross, can you tell us, just from your point of view, you've tasted a lot of finals, how is a finals game different to a home and away game?
I think the difference is expectation and the cutthroat nature of it. There is no next week for us if we lose, so I think that's a significant difference from home and away. It gets really acute, and it's high pressure, and there's more focus, there's less teams around, so it's how you handle that and focus on what you need to, prepare really well, and just do the basics over and over again. So there's plenty of players with experience there and coaches, and we'll have some young players, but yeah, we're not overly concerned, and we'll just go down and focus on what we need to do and play the footy we've been playing, and we'll stand up. I've got no doubt about that.
What do you make of Geelong? And they're also very impressive come finals time as well. They've proven over the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, fortunately the past counts for nothing, to be frank. When the ball's bounced, we all start equal. We believe in our game plan, we believe in each other, where we're really looking forward to the challenge at the MCG when that ball's bounced. So I'm really excited. I really believe in this group. It's a great challenge, but one we're up for.
You mentioned, Ross, about the secrets, forward pressure, midfield pressure and high defensive pressure. Those things apply in particular to the Cats, don't they, because of their ball skills and their ability to keep it moving through there?
Yeah, it applies to every AFL game, particularly finals, and against it gets harder to do against quality opposition. But we feel all our indicators are standing up. We bring it to life this weekend, we'll be in good shape.
Ross, there's a lot of continued speculation in the media about Brendan Goddard and his position coming to Fremantle. Is he still a player that you'd like to get to Fremantle?
Well, I think you've summed it up. It's all speculation, isn't it? So I don't deal in it. Clearly our list management team, headed by Brad Lloyd and Chris Bond, are out in the marketplace, as is every other club in the competition. I think what occurred with the Cloak story put us on the radar a little bit more, but I haven't got the luxury. You know, I'm employed to coach the team and deal with our leadership group and our players and strategies, and I'll let the cobblers do the cobbling. It's not something I concern myself with, and it's particularly irrelevant this week.
Just in terms of Hawkins and Podsiadly, where do they rate in terms of...
Geez, you snuck that in. We're almost done. Must be finals. You're a bit more formal this week.
So in terms of forward duos, where do they rate?
Yeah, I don't need to rate the opposition. I'll let you do that. Thanks, mate. Cheers.